got to this point where I'm doing my thing, and I look up, and the water surface is up there. I'm like, man, I really need some air. I need to get a breath. And then everything inside me started to say, just go to sleep, go to sleep. And I see the top, and I'm sinking, and I'm like, no, I need to get up there. And I got the brick here, and I'm sinking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to sleep. Everything went black.
Welcome back to another episode. Today's guest is a guy who was for 4 years in the Coast Guards. He's also an extreme sports aficionado and an adrenaline junkie. Without further ado, let's welcome the one and only Duncan Smith.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah,
excited
absolutely.
to be here.
Yeah,
a little nervous, but
thank you for being here, man.
excited.
As I said in the intro,
Yeah.
you were part of the Coast Guards. What made you join them?
Well, my brother Tanner, as you mentioned on the last episode, I believe it was, our father was in the Army. I wanted to go in the Army. I was, small town country boy. We played with airsoft guns, pellet guns, whatever. I wanted to be in the Army so bad. My dad was like, there's no way. He's like, I know you. You're not going to the Army. So he's like, what about the Coast Guard? It's like, what is the Coast Guard? So I looked into it a little bit, figured out they had the rescue swimming program, and I was dead set on that because I really wanted to go in the Army and do Rangers. Have you ever heard of the Rangers?
Yes.
So that was the thing. But yeah, so then ended up signing. I had to wait over a year to actually get into that, which is way different than other military branches. Most time if you come, you want to sign up, they're like, all right, let's go next week. Coast Guard, it was hard to get in, because I think when I was in, 2014 to 2018, there was, I think, just over 50 or 60,000 people in the Coast Guard. So you've got to have, good grades coming into it or good tests coming into it as for the ASVAB. And then, they want to see something else in you. So that was also another big pro about going to the Coast Guard that I didn't even think about was the amount of talent or, I guess, higher end of the pool that comes in. It was awesome people. I had a great time. It was cool.
There are a lot of pickier than any
Yes.
other, whether the Army,
Yes.
the
Absolutely.
Marines, and the SEALs.
Yeah. A lot of so if you were to take the ASVAB, the entry score to go into the Coast Guard, I want to say is one of the highest compared to like the Army or the Marines, which is lower. And then the majority of the jobs that you do in the Coast Guard are, you have to test decently high at, which is, for some other branches. I'm not knocking on other branches at all. I love them. We all serve our purpose, but yeah, it was a little bit higher in scale and are harder to get into, but not to say you can't get into it. It was cool. I feel like the Coast Guard is completely slept on, and there's not a lot. The common knowledge on it just isn't there, but it was awesome, man. Got to do so much.
Yeah, and how was experience your full 4 years? Was exactly how you were envisioning, or it completely blew your mind when?
I think we always envision or kind of build this scheme in our head of whatever it is we're going after is going to look like. And part of that is true, and a lot of it isn't, So being a part of the rank and, that family and the organization, that was awesome. I think the things that killed it for me, though, were poor leadership. And, man, that really bugged me, you're always going to have goods and bads wherever you're at, and that's part of it. But when you also have someone that's well above you rank-wise, and he's just not a happy individual, that can hurt a lot of other people's lives, over time or whatnot. But some of it's good, you need to be tough. You need to be able to take some shit here and there, of course. But poor leadership hurt. But also at the same time, I met so many mentors in the Coast Guard that are forever, got love from my heart. They've done so much for me and taught me so much and taken care of me, saved me, whatever you want to call it. But it was cool. Somehow I stayed in Texas my whole 4 years, and I was born here. So I don't know how that happened, but I was on 87-foot cutter, the Amberjack, down in South Padre. And then I was at the small boat station in Galveston. Both wildly different jobs, but real cool. I mean, you're talking about being out on the water, out in the ocean for a week and a half, and it's just you and on the amberjack, at least 87-foot cutter. It's just you and 12 other people if you have a full boat. So, and you're just out there, so you go, say you wake up for mids, which is you're going to be on watch or you have some duty or role in the middle of the night, a part of the boat, and, say 15 minutes, 20, 30 minutes before you go, you're supposed to be on duty. You just go out on the aft deck, middle of the night. Dude, you've never seen the sky, like as pretty. And then depending on where you're at or what time of year it is, sometimes there's like a luminescent, like fungi or some kind of luminescent something in the water, and it's kind of looks like Avatar water. It's like a blue shining. It's wild. It's so cool experiences. It was awesome.
I don't like the water, honestly. I can't stay far from the water, but I admire those people who just live and live by the water.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what do you learn in those 4 years? Because I think that shaped you from, it's almost when you were just a teenager, almost to you became a man in that transition time.
Oh, I didn't become a man in that in that time. Not at all. I was still very much a kid, which is wild. But that's just a part of life, you live, you experience, and you grow from that. That was one, just most people leaving high school or going to their college thing or their trade, whatever it is, and I got sent off to my thing, and that was essentially my college, and so that was a shock, obviously going to live by yourself in a completely different area and having a pretty big boy job, that was a shock. I learned how powerful camaraderie is. Also, it reinforced what consistency can can do for you, essentially, like in the military, especially the Coast Guard. I mean, you do some kind of training almost every day. And that can be fun or it can be annoying, but it doesn't matter. Let's say we get called out for, a SAR or search and rescue, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter who was on the crew with me. Let's just say there's 3-4 other people, it's a small boat. I can do the same job, task, whatever it happens to be with any of the people I'm stationed with. That, out of 60 people, we trained, we know exactly how this person's going to do this if they're in this role, if this, so you don't even have to talk. When you have a good crew, you can just go and rescue a boat. No one says a word and it's just smooth. And you get back, you're like, that was wild. We were just in 5-foot seas, 30-foot, or 30-mile-an-hour winds. We had to throw a line over and tow them back, rescue them off the boat, get them out of the water. It was wild.
Just repetition.
Repetition, man. Repetition every day. And there's always something to learn on. There's also always something that needs to be maintained or taken care of. I was on the engineering side of it, so we run those boats, 24/7. It is crazy what they can handle, but you have some catastrophes here and there, mechanically. Yeah, and somehow, my whole ride through the Coast Guard, there was never really any devastating health issues around with friends of mine or anything. So that was good, but it was cool. If you don't like the water, Coast Guard might be a killer for you, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But when I think about the military, it doesn't matter which branch. It could be the Army, could be the Coast Guard, could be the Navy, could be the Marines. I think about mental toughness, and I know that you are big into mental toughness,
Sure.
mental strength, and to me, I feel like that's what the term is, the key for success. In what do you do, or how do you develop mental toughness? What do you do to improve or to work on it?
Do that thing, whatever it is, working, that consistency thing, a lot of times the days that I really don't want to go to the gym, say it, I'm tired, I'm already sore, or, I've already had a long day, whatever it is, or I have nothing to do that day and I'm like, should it be, a relaxed day, whatever. On those days, I end up going to the gym because I'm like, no, we're going to go. Like most time those days are my best workout days, every time you don't want to do something, but you make yourself do it, you get stronger, and you can go the other way too. And I think that consistently for all of us, it goes up and down, and let's try to make sure it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back if it has to be that way, but just constantly moving forward. And, I think emotions are good when emotions need to be analyzed, but sometimes you just got to turn that shit off, whether it hurts, whether you don't want to do it or whether, it doesn't matter. And that can be anywhere. It can be not want to do dishes. Let's do the dishes, working out, some work, whatever it is. Just lean into it as best you can,
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
With the point that you just have to do whatever you're trying to avoid,
Mm-hmm.
right? And most of the times, it's just a feeling, it's the uncomfort feeling that you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Whether it's a pain where you're going to the gym or the annoyance of doing the dishes or doing laundry.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things I asked Tanner on our episode. That is one side of the mental toughness. Another side of how to develop mental toughness is when you have a storm inside, when you are full of fears, when you are full of self-doubts, insecurities. What do you think, or at least in your experience, how can you work on that, on just overcoming that and just push through? Because again, I feel that that's the main difference between those who are at the very top and those who never reach that level.
When, say you've been pushing towards that thing and it's been a struggle to get there every day, and you've already got that storm inside your head, you might be spiraling, you might be locked onto one thought or one thing that's hooked on you. I think being able to be kind to yourself and realize, okay, I've been pushing really hard on this and it's wearing me out, That's when I'll take a even further step back and analyze other things in my life or my, where I'm putting my time here. How's my relationship at home? Is there something else bothering me that needs to be addressed? Because usually if you're really struggling with something, it's probably not just one thing. It can be a multitude of things. And maybe that's the actual thing that's messing with your head, is the fact that you really want this thing, and first you really need to take care of some of these other things first, and that'll alleviate your stress and actually make your day smoother. So if you can step back, analyze how or why I'm feeling this way, and what is the actual root to solving this problem. And sometimes it's easier to lie to yourself, and that's just life, but being able to be honest with yourself goes a long way, and loving yourself, that goes a long way too.
You said two key things, which to me, they're massive. And again, I know that a lot of people are going through the same journey. One, for some reason, it's hard for us to be kind with ourselves.
Absolutely.
We are our biggest critics. We tear ourselves down. And only if you have a certain level of awareness, then you can say, you know what, it's fine. But that points to the other thing that you said, like sometimes we lie to ourselves. So that is a balance I've been trying to figure out in my life, where I know I need to be kind to myself, but at the same time, am I being too kind? I'm being too forgiving in a way. It's like, because I want to push myself harder, but then if I'm too kind, I feel, it's okay. I can half-ass it and still feel that I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is very tricky.
Yeah.
To find that balance.
For sure.
In your experience, where was the last time that you experienced such a moment where you felt the storm, where you felt insecure or fear of just taking a step, but you knew that was a step that you needed to take in order for you to just, move forward?
Let's see. I think my brother last episode, he said that I'd worked for several months, 2-3 months. I think it was more like 4 or 5 months before even getting a check. Okay. From this company, and I really enjoy this job, and it's awesome compared to other things I've done. Whether it be the time or just the job in general, it's cool. This whole year has been a wild ride. But so I was obviously transferring jobs or looking to get into something else, and so I expected to go 2 to 3 months with no check. That 4th month, almost that 5th month starts coming around, and it gets tight. But each day knowing I need to go and door knock or try to network or find someone, taking those steps out the door when, money's tight and you need to go put these hours in, even though there's not going to be a return for how long, you don't know. So that was weird. And especially my first time kind of being in this job role situation, building my daily schedule, my plan, that was hard. But going out the door and it's like, all right, cool. I already know it's going to be $30 in gas food going up this way. And then putting hours in there, getting home, trying to do some other side projects to make ends meet and whatever. But it was cool. I mean, to finally see everything turn around and I finally have an understanding of how the job works and how it can be more efficient, how it can be smoother here, how it can be better to, the people above me or below me, how it can be better with clients, and just that continual growth. You like you said, that consistency. You don't always get, a trophy along the way. You get a couple here and there randomly, and you're like, okay, I am getting better. Wow, that was smoother. That is easier. It's just that slow step and keep going. It's been wild, but it's cool.
I know, dude. Sales, as I was telling Tanner,
Yeah.
dude, sales is tough.
Yeah.
I did sales for a few years.
Yeah.
I don't know, back in 2018. I hated it.
Yeah.
And every time it became smoother.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure.
But sometimes you feel like, okay, I'm getting better, and yet I'm not closing.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
and it can take months. And
Yeah.
just I was telling Tanner, it's like, dude, how do you do? And this can apply for anything. How do you avoid to get discouraged? But it's like, it could take 2 months or it could take 2 years. That's how wild. In fact, Jeff Bezos has this quote that says like, hey, you can be grinding for 4 years without seeing any results. Year 5, you're on the top of the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know that. So
No, you don't.
It's just like that moment of, should I quit?
Yeah.
Should I do something else?
Yeah.
That's a very tough one.
That is a hard one. Yeah. I don't think you can stop the doubtful thoughts coming in. I think that's like something we all maybe wish for or hope. How can I get to that point of where, blah, blah. I don't think that's a thing at all. I think it's just going to take a combination of your perseverance and a little bit of life luck or, whatever to make that final product come to be. But yeah, again, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, I don't think you're avoiding those thoughts in your head, those intrusive thoughts, but just getting out there, keep going. And another thing, I guess, for me and for this job in general, for being a contractor, it was, I was transitioning into this job. I'd already started, and I was like, I'm gonna make this work. There's no options, Yeah, of course I could have gone and got a different job somewhere else and consistent salary, whatever it is. But I'd already done it, and I'd seen success in my, other family and friends, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this work. Like this is gonna happen. I've got to. Like, there's no way it's not gonna happen. Like I've done the other jobs. Like I was BMW mechanic, and I've worked on your car several times before. That was years ago now.
Yeah. Almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I loved being a mechanic. Loved it. That's what pretty much what I've wanted to do for forever. But just the job in general killed me, and the hours and the pay and everything, and I just wasn't going to go back to that. On to the next best thing, and build my skills up here and see where it takes me in the future, or stay with it. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It just, I know that killing those thoughts or not having them is barely impossible. Even the top, the most successful people. In fact, there was an interview, Novak Djokovic, the tennis player, arguably probably the greatest of all time. The interviewer said, "Hey, when we see skills like speed, strength." That is very tangible. We can see it and we can measure. But in your case, it's just mental toughness. That's your gift. And the guy said, "No, it's not a gift. I worked on the skill. I developed it." And he said, it seems like I might be okay. It seems like I'm normal, but there's a storm
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
And the difference is how long do I allow it to stay there?
Yeah, for sure. This might seem odd or you might resonate with it, but I've always found like physical pain, whether you're running or working out or endurance, something there. I've always found physical pain way easier to deal with than like, I don't know, maybe sitting in an office or crunching, paperwork or whatever it is. Like that is difficult for me. Just the way I'm wired, that's hard. That takes a lot of willpower in my head to sit there and, not be moving, not, be, I don't know, outside. But physical pain, I love that. I'll eat that up. I absolutely love it.
100%. Because again, I would rather in fact, I ran a marathon a month and a half ago.
Nice.
It was the most miserable time.
Yeah.
After mile 18, I was just miserable. But I would rather do that than go through the pain. I think that the difference is when you are in an office job or any kind of job that you really don't like, you deep inside, you know that you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do other things, either greater things or something completely different. And that leads me to a question about you. It's like, do you think, because you definitely struggled for the first few months trying to make it into this business, do you think that you would have jumped and tried to do it what your brother was doing as well if you already had a comfortable job?
Man, I don't know. I want to say I would, but if you asked me that maybe even a year and a half ago, I don't know that I would. It would have been a close decision. Mainly is I love freedom, my free time, my whatever it is, and being in the Coast Guard, your contract, your number, you're locked in. You can only do certain things. You only go so far on vacation unless you get authorization. You can't go out at blah 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 blah. And then working at being a mechanic, that was 10-hour days, sun up, sun down every day. And in the winter, that killed me because it was dark when I went to work and it was dark when I was going home. I know a lot of people experience that too, but man, it made me miserable. And on top of already being exhausted, and not making a whole lot of money there. So to now have this gig where, it's all on my own, for the most part, like you go find your money and you go secure it essentially, that's cool. And it's up to me. It's up to me how much time I put into it, how much effort I put into it. And that's daunting too, coming out of like a W-2 job. So, but I think for the right people in the right time in their lives, it's a fantastic opportunity. And again, I'd never been in sales, but I love talking to people, and that's what I do. I talk to people, and I make sure they hear me, and I hear them, and we communicate on what they want, and we make it happen. Try to make that good. So it's I think I'd still do it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was listening to your story, I felt, well, that is a blessing in disguise, because basically not having a safe job or a consistent job, like a W-2 in an office, that forces you to think outside the box and to do things and take risks, right? That if you had that job, it's like,
oh yeah, dude,
next month,
absolutely,
next month, and then you are always trying to avoid the thing.
For sure.
And years can pass, and then you look back 40 years like, shit, absolutely. I never did it.
And that's another thing that really drives me today is tomorrow's not guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? And I may say this more than I need to, but tomorrow's not guaranteed. Like let's make sure we're enjoying our day. Try your best not to lie to yourself and others. If you can do that, that's huge. And then 2, maybe the night as you're falling asleep or whatnot, think to yourself, like, if tomorrow doesn't come, am I happy with my day? Did I doesn't mean you need to be hard on yourself again, but I'm saying, like, align your day in a sense where you enjoy your day. Does that mean changing the job? Maybe. Are you not happy? Let's go find your next thing, and just enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your hobbies. Find your friends, whatever it is. build all that up, and I think everything else will
Yeah.
follow in a good direction.
Yeah, taking the leap of faith
That's a hard one.
is hard. But I think that almost nobody who has done that has
Yeah.
regretted.
For sure. I mean, just getting out of the Coast Guard. You want to talk about a shock? Getting out of the military. That is a shock. You know, especially going from high
Structure.
school into the military. You know, so you have high school, you're still a kid. First, 4 years after that, you're still a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's so you learn to live in this culture, and then you get out, and your whole world is smashed. You know, it's like your understanding of how everything operates is just so different. I mean, it was a hard transition for me.
Let's talk more about that, because
Yeah.
I know that in the military you have like a massive structure.
Absolutely.
How do you go, or how do you do from going from very structured day to day to unstructured, you're on your own, and then you can do whatever you want, but yet you feel like, shit, I don't know what to do, right? I'm kind of lost because
Yeah.
in my day there's no plan
Yeah.
like it used to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. That's the struggle, like for me, I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I get out, and I had set that up prior to leaving the military. So that was all set up in the process, just getting out to California, because I went to California to mechanic school there. And getting out there, having a full week, where it's just up to me to, whatever, like that was a shock. I got a dog like almost immediately after. Actually, the day I was out of the military, I got my dog. So that was a little gift to myself. Even just having a dog, like, being able to take care of a dog, being home enough, in the right times to have a dog, like that was wild. There's no way I could have a dog in the military unless I had, a spouse or what have you. Also, in the military, any direction you want to go, there's someone you can talk to that's been there, done that, or knows someone, and they can guide you in the right direction. They can give you, hey, do this, don't do this, look for this, whatever. In civilian world, that is a thing, but you don't have the connection. You don't have that camaraderie, like I said earlier, that brotherhood, that whatever it is. So that was weird, and how people communicate, and how it seems a lot more selfish, I guess, out in the world outside of the military, because in the military, everyone's taking care of, even if I don't like you, I'm still doing things for you. You're still helping me,
You have to.
And that's an awesome thing about the military. That was hard. Also working outside of the military, weird, and has almost gotten me into so many fights, because you don't have like the
Discipline.
military court. You don't have the discipline. You don't have the repercussions. So people can just do or say as they please, and there's also not a common communication style. So like, it just blows my mind. Going to UTI, the mechanic school, going to school there was wild. Being there next to high school kids after the military, like that was wild. And then, working elsewhere, being around. I took some college classes too at ACC, and that was shocking. It really gives you, it's like, all right, I'm getting older. These are kids, this is, you got to have the patience for that and whatnot. So, which I am not grown up. Let me tell you that. I have plenty to do. I think we all do, but yeah.
I know, absolutely. And I think when a man at the beginning, just becoming a man, is in comparison to what you could have been without that, right?
Oh, for sure.
So that shaped you to some degree now. You're still somewhat irresponsible because of the age, like we all were at that point.
For sure.
You didn't have your shit together, like even people in their 30s don't have that.
Absolutely.
So totally understand, but you already had a discipline how to care for other people, how to work, in teams, right, and make it successful and efficient. Because if not, somebody could die, literally.
Yeah. And that's where that training comes back into it. Like, there were so many days where, we might have a new person come in, and they're out on the pier throwing a heaving line for 30 minutes straight after work day is over, because they, sucked at throwing the heaving line. That's an important thing. If you're going to a distressed boat, and there's a storm or they're about to hit jetties, or got to make sure you get that line thrown over so they can get the boat hooked up so you can tow them out of there. So, yeah, teamwork. That definitely was crushed into you. I mean, in boot camp, that's probably one of the biggest things, not lying and teamwork, working with everyone. Doesn't matter where you're from or who you are, working good with people. So that was huge too. That was a big one. Coast Guard was fun though. Coast Guard was fun. It's wild. That was 2018 I got out. Beginning of 2018. That's a while ago.
Yeah, that was what, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Wild. It's crazy how time flies.
Dude, we still remember, to me, the last 4 years, 2020, COVID came. Now, 4 years later, it's like, that went just like this.
Yeah.
Went super quick, and it's funny because people sometimes, speaking of taking risk, if I work on a new project, if I take the leap of faith, I open a business or whatever the case may be, it might take 2 years, 4 years, and we see that's a long time.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's super quick.
Yeah.
Now, financially wise, it's a long time of being in the red.
Yeah.
But time wise of you improving over time and getting better and maybe seeing results, it's nothing. It just happens very quickly.
Absolutely. I think most growth will happen when you realize where you're at, honestly. When you can, comes back to not lying to yourself, being honest with yourself. When you can realize where you're at, and then map out your goals, that's going to be the beginning of everything. And if you can keep doing that, truly analyzing where you're at and mapping out your goals, you're going to get a lot of momentum forward. So, yeah, it's just a wild ride, man. Life is wild. I feel like the last 2 years I've really awoken to life and the reality of everything, and time, family, friends. Life's cool.
So based on that, what's your definition of success?
Success. I think this is going to come down to your own personal view, but for me, I think success is having confidence in yourself, loving yourself, and knowing that you're loved because you're doing the right things to other people around you, and or you have people that will take care of you. Whether you're looking for that or not, you might never need anyone's help, but knowing that you're there for them, they're there for you, you're happy with your hobbies, you're happy with your, you're enjoying where your life's at, and where you're trying to go. I think that's success. And, we're just at this one little finite point of time that's going to keep moving. So, don't beat yourself up on what you do or don't have. Again, just notice where you're at and make it the best you can, again, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, So, again, before you go to bed, be like, am I happy? Am I going to do what I want to do tomorrow? Let's make it happen. Let's do it. Yeah. But, success can be anything. Success can be working out in the morning, for the first time. And that could be the success you want or just needed to spur off the rest of your life. But, yeah.
I like your approach because I know that that's one of the most subjective questions
Absolutely.
That you can ask. But I do feel that a lot of people get influenced by their surroundings, right?
Absolutely.
They see people on social media. They see whatever, co-workers, friends, parents, and they attach themselves to their vision of success or whatever that person is doing. If somebody is a VP at a company or has his own business or is making a shit ton of money creating content, whatever the case may be, they would attach that to their definition of success and probably pursuing the wrong thing. It's hard because it's what gives you peace of mind, what makes you happy, and what it guarantees you, or maybe not guarantee because nothing is guaranteed in this life, but that in 30 years from now, 40 years from now, when you look back, you know what? I don't have major regrets. You always have. You're always going to have small regrets here and there. But the major ones are the ones that you might want to try to avoid.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, regrets are weird because those ones will sneak up on you, you know? Those will bite you in the ass real quick. Yeah, that's where I think being happy with your experience of the day or your week, you know, trying to get those experiences you're looking for as much as you can, what's realistic for your life. Success is a weird one because everyone's is going to be different, you know?
And there's no right or wrong
And there's
answer.
no right or wrong. There's no right, I mean...
Well...
Yeah.
It could be some wrong answer. It could be...
let's stop there for sure.
There's no right answer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, success. And you know, my success is what I look for as success has changed multiple times in my life. You know, like I wanted to be in the Coast Guard. That was my success. I did that thing, and then I wanted to be a mechanic. I went and did that thing. You know. And that also builds confidence and helps your next success, you know? So,
okay, I can see now how you look at it.
Yeah.
You don't see like a one long time, lifelong success. Like I get
No.
to this much money or this position or this status, whatever. It's like having a smaller goals, a smaller successes, smaller wins, a smaller in a sense of your time in this earth, right? Again, it would take you 4 years to probably be, you know, somebody at the Coast Guard, or it would take you 5-10 years to be a great mechanic.
Yeah.
But then, in the big scheme of things, still 10 out of 70, 80, 90 years, it's not that once you get there, you want to go for the next thing.
Yeah, I don't really look at things as like looking... I like enjoying the ride to the thing, the journey to the thing, you know, like actually getting to the end of the thing is the part I don't look forward to, you know, or I do look forward to because that means I get to go to the next thing, you know, so it's, yeah, you get a little success, but I'm constantly trying to get a little success here and go to the next thing. And so like, I have so many different little things I'm working on every day inside my head, you know, for myself, whether that's the gym, make sure I'm getting, you know, this amount of times in each week, this amount of time, the effort level, work, how much success am I getting with my home relationship, my dogs, you know, yeah, just trying to keep everything going and notice the growth within myself, you know, my girlfriend has been fantastic with letting me know, like, hey, you are doing a good job. Hey, like, don't be hard on yourself. Like, notice, like, this is what you've done. You know, like, you're doing good. You got this. Because it comes back to that self-talk, dude. Like, that we're all our own biggest, you know, critics. And it's real easy to be mean to yourself versus being gentle to yourself. And that's a skill that I think everyone needs to kind of, you know, push for themselves as well.
And I think that most people are lacking.
For sure. And that's not me, you know, trying to say just be a wimp, you know, obviously be hard on yourself, but know when when to stop, or like when you might be going too hard, or, you know, you might feel like you're doing the right thing right now, but in a week you're going to be burnt out, or a day, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah, just finding enough evidence.
Yeah.
That will take you from point A to point B to point C. Just like, okay, I did this.
And keep that journey going.
Keep those reminders, because what we tend to do is just we remember where we screw up.
Absolutely.
But what we don't remember is the small things we did that turned out to be okay, because it's not this massive win. It's not that, for instance, in your case, it's not that you landed and closed a client, right? Yeah. And that would be considered like a big win. But then a win could be, hey, I was able to speak longer.
Yeah.
With the customer, and the customer felt more comfortable than customer 1 versus customer 50. Yeah. So I can see how
absolutely
slowly
there's something to take from each encounter. There's something to take from everything, good or bad encounter. You know, there's so much to learn. Like, I can't tell you how many no's I've received, or almost, you know, or most time, the first time I go out to pitch the first 2 houses, I stumble, I mess up. I just get that out of me real quick. If I stumble, I don't even care because I know either I'll be on the street again or I'll see them again or I'm going to do better the next time. I got the jitters out. Now I got it. Let's go. If I lost these 2 houses, I can come back. Or, I got another 100 houses in here or, whatever it is. There's always something to take, learn, figure out how to read people, how to communicate with them. Everyone is different. There's so many different cultures and schools of thought, and it's fun. I think sales is fun. I think it is difficult, but I love trying to build that connection with someone and talk, and it's like a giant puzzle chess game.
Yeah,
it's great.
You said something that was key is just once you stumble, once you screw up, move on.
For sure.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly. And
don't beat yourself up about it. That's where being gentle,
And I smile because I've been in that position where
for sure.
I have beaten myself up many, many, many times.
Yeah.
It's like I replay it over and over and over. Just
That's hard, man.
I have it for years, but not only sales, but in any other aspects of my life.
For sure.
Just like, golly, for how long is it going to last? Now, in the last couple of years, I was like, you know what? Move on.
You taught yourself like, hey, okay, I'm not going to spiral on this. I'm not going to sit here and ruminate on this I'm going to learn I'm going to push myself to my best ability to maneuver out of this or onto the next thing.
The hard way. I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn. So it took me a while, but that what you said, absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And when it comes to sales, just as I told Tanner, bro, everyone is a salesperson, every single person. Because if you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to get a girlfriend, whatever the case, you're selling what you represent to anybody out there.
Yeah.
New friendships, whatever, right? And people have this misconception of, selling is trying to sell a product or a service to a client. No, anything that you do in life requires for you to know how to market yourself in a way that is attractive to the other person.
Yes, absolutely. Like, just the psychology behind it or body language or whatever. I think it's so fun, and I think everyone would benefit to just learning a little bit about it, good communication, because even just your posture can go a long way. Job interview, posture, your tone, your how you communicate, being able to read the person across from you, micro expression, whatever you want to call it, like that goes a long way. And like my brother said last time, being able to sit in silence, that also goes a long way. And that not as like a bullying technique, but that also the client could also see it as like they're confident in what they're doing. They're okay with me saying no, and that sometimes might lead them to saying yes. So you never know. Practice.
I know. Just repetition.
Yeah,
repetition.
And try to do better the next time. So
it's a typical 10,000 hours until you get to master something.
Yeah. I think some people might come into certain things with more skills than others, but you can always get there.
Absolutely. It's just like you can control the hand that you're dealt, but you are the one in control to do whatever you can.
Yes, I love that. I love when people play their cards, or really truly analyze their cards and, and then can move forward off that and build off of that and play off of their strengths and weaknesses. I think I love seeing when people do that successfully, or just they're in the process of doing that, That's hard to come to terms with certain things about ourselves and use those good or bad things to grow with. But I think that's awesome. I think that's the coolest thing.
And sometimes it's actually better when you're not that like good hand. Because when somebody's more talented than you, it forces you to work harder, and talent only takes you so far.
Yes.
But if you can outwork that person, no matter how much talent that person has, you're
absolutely. Yeah. And usually that person that is more talented, once they reach their talent cap, they have to work on the things just like everyone else. And that's new to a lot of highly talented people in whatever field they're in. So that's where the other person can catch up and get right beside them, life's wild.
So you already have the whole thing going.
Exactly. Because you've already were, you started off down here and you had to build up, and this person's just figuring out what it's like to struggle there, and so, but there's no race. We're all on our own, timeline, I think that's also common to do with age. As you get another year older, another year, you're like, I should have had this, I should have done this, I should have that. Or
that right there's the toughest part. The reason why not many people take risk, and the reason why We've, and I get it, right? Depending on where you are in life. If you are in your mid-30s, late 30s, early 40s, and you want to have a family, that is tricky. You need to have some sort of stability, or you need to be with somebody who's willing to struggle with you, which, once again, that's hard to find.
That is hard to find.
That's hard to find.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm absolutely blessed with Rachel. She is the best. I love everything about her, and she's everything I'm not, like, she brings to the table, and vice versa, which is awesome. And I can't imagine life without her and what she does for me, you know.
What you have is just incredible.
Super, like, I mean, if I wasn't with her, I don't know where I would look or try, to find someone. I don't know. Our relationship formed organically at a dog park, so wasn't at a bar or anything like that. So that's cool to our story, and really set the tone. Also, not just finding person for you, but also someone that's trying to grow with you, because
same value.
Who you are in the relationship when you guys meet is not, both of you are going to be different in 3 years, 5 years, so finding that other person that loves you and is there to grow with you, and you're there to grow with them, because there's going to be constant change, and good communication goes a long way. Honesty and good communication goes a long way, and I think that is really hard to find, and in today's kind of world where it's all about me, or how I look, how I show, whatever it is.
Yeah, very narcissistic way of looking at things.
Yeah. I mean, we're an individualistic culture, so I think finding a woman that shares your values is going to be hard. But also, you need to go into a relationship also being open, but not losing yourself. You need to be able to draw your own lines for yourself and for the relationship. If you don't have, certain boundaries or things like that, like, that's going to cause issues too. So I don't know how people are doing it right now. I'm so happy I'm not in that field, and I have my girl, and she's great. So but going back to the point of, because this came from the topic of the age, or where I should be either financially or at work. So I get where some people get angsty when they are in their 30s or 40s. Like, so what society tells me is that I should be stable, I should have this much money, or I should have this level or this lifestyle, or at least have a family. And when you go against that, then you feel that you're doing something wrong. So having the awareness of, who gives a shit? I mean, I need to do my thing, because at the end of the day, it's your life. It's not anybody else's lives. And that's hard to do, man. I mean, that is hard to do. And doing what you love, being true to yourself. Not everyone is down with that, not everyone has their opinions on how they think you should do something or what you should do. But they're not you, take their, jot down their information and, what they have to say about something, think about it. Don't just ignore it. But at the end of the day, weigh your options and do what you think's best for you, or follow your dream, whatever it is, I think. But that one is hard, especially when you're maybe running a different path than the average person. That is weird. I mean, even just having this job, that was weird for me. Like, Rachel's going to work, and I don't have anything to do till the afternoon, so, like, I feel bad. I'm like, damn, she's got to go work a full day. And I'm running the dogs. I'm getting my workout in. I'm, go get groceries, whatever it is, and then go take, get the work done in the evening or the afternoon or whatever it is. So.
And yes, it's true. People are gonna give you their advice, what they think is right for you, or whatever. I usually take it as, okay, it comes from a good place, but that's it. And there's this guy, Alex Hormozzi. He's a businessman, content creator. He's massive. He's an author as well. He said, whoever gives you an advice, if that person doesn't have the life that you're trying to live, don't listen. They don't know exactly what it takes to get to that position. Now, if somebody that you're following, let's say that Tanner gives you an advice, and you see, okay, what he's doing is sort of...
Let's stop it right there. I'm not listening. No,
Exactly.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, as a siblings, I have younger brothers. They don't listen, but hey, I get it. But it totally, it's just
I just said that to raise conflict. I would totally listen.
I know.
A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have.
Bro, I get it. I trust me. I have a brother and sister. They will listen to anybody. But it's like, you know what? Fine. But yeah, either or somebody else who has the life that you're aspiring to have. It's like, well, if that person says it for a reason, I'm probably learning from his mistakes, his experience, so I don't have to go through that pain. Myself. But that would be the only time where I would really listen and maybe take an advice from somebody else.
Man, I think once I left for the Coast Guard and, was on my own, this young 19-year-old, whatever, 18, I felt alone. So I just started to listen more than I think I ever had, and also a lot of times you're supposed to, be quiet, sit down, kind of thing. So learning to listen through those 4 years, and then once I got out, listening more and not talking more helped me so much and unlock so many things. If you really pay attention to people or listen to people, you'll unlock a lot of, not shortcuts, but a little cheat code for yourself. And that's, especially being in the mechanic world, I talk to all the master techs, everything. If I have downtime, I'd be chatting their ear off, figuring out little things here and there because they have so many years of experience. And that helps. That goes a long way, just knowledge.
It's just like that. And I'm struggling with that a bit of me asking questions. I've always relied on myself. I rarely ask questions. I don't like to ask for help, but that is a big help because let's say...
Classic guy.
Yeah, you and I started... Yeah, exactly. You and I started at the same level, same skill, same knowledge, same something. You relied on other people and you ask questions, and I do it all by myself. You're going to surpass me very quickly because I'm going to have to learn the hard way, experiencing
which is also good learning, but it's not going to be as fast as, the guy right beside you being like, do this, and go put this on it because blah, blah, blah. I would have never thought about that.
Exactly.
Thank you. When did you figure that out? 20 years ago, my master tech told me that, whatever it is. So yeah, that's cool. Listening to people, analyzing it, and taking what you think is best goes a long way. Don't just run and gun with people's information.
And be willing to ask dumb questions.
Yeah, that right there, that goes so far and will help you and others. Just like, who cares what they think? If I ask this question, I might look dumb, but at least I got an answer, and maybe someone else did too, or you got more of an answer than you were ever expecting.
Yeah.
Taking a couple college classes the last couple of years, and then the mechanics school, like that was a big game changer for me. I went to the mechanics school, UTI is what it's called, in Sacramento, and I came out top of my class. Actually ended up getting into a BMW program, special BMW program, and a lot of that was because I was asking questions. All the professors loved me. They'd help me, they'd spend extra time with me if I needed that, but again, I asked. Sometimes we just gotta ask, and that is hard to do. Trust me.
I know.
All the time with that.
I know.
It's rough. I don't know. Why are we programmed to do that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's pride. I don't know if it's not wanting to be embarrassed. I don't know. That I'm still. Mine is a work in progress. I'm still trying to figure out how to feel comfortable asking questions, no matter how dumb they are.
Yeah.
Because I feel, I should know that.
Yeah.
I should know that. And then that's why I don't ask. And then I have to figure it out myself. And then it can take me.
The whole concept of it is just like shooting yourself in the foot if you don't ask. It's like, just because my pride, my ego, whatever, I'm not going to do this. And I'm just hurting myself. So let me just do this. Even if they make a silly joke about me asking, I don't care. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it better beforehand and I won't have to ask a question next time, So.
Exactly. It is just like that. But yeah. And something related to the whole thing, you are almost by nature like a hustler, right? But you're also into have a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? How you achieve that? Because what we see is you either are a hustler that work like that, but the life work balance doesn't.
Yeah. That's a scale that's you're constantly sliding, and I take this really seriously, actually, like balancing The way I kind of balance it is, um, what's necessary, like what your duties are, whatever your things are for your day that you need to get done or your week, whatever, versus like overall joy or happiness, like mood, vibe, whatever you want to call it. Like, let's try to keep this thing in a healthy kind of tone the whole time. So, making sure I get my workout in, never going more than 3 days, never more than 3 days. Making sure I'm eating right. And I eat very simply. I eat a lot of meat, vegetables, and some berries. I usually don't eat till 1, 2 in the afternoon every day. Get my workout in the morning. As long as I'm good with working out, sleep, food, like I'm in a pretty healthy state as for like brain activity. So I can get work done. I can get all my dog work done, and still have time to do my hobbies. I think making sure you have time for your hobbies, is absolutely vital to your day-to-day joy. Yeah, I couldn't live life without my excitements, my motorcycles, my whatever. I've been looking to get my pilot's license too, so I've already started on that. That's cool. Getting into cycling now too. So yeah, I love my hobbies. I couldn't live life without it. But again, making sure you're still getting your stuff done. That has to be done. And then also adding in things and timing your life right to where you're enjoying your day, even with the lows of the day. There are the hard things you don't want to do. And not every day is going to be the same. So that's where that scale is constantly sliding. But do your best. And again, it comes down to when you go to sleep at night, did I enjoy, do I feel good about my day as a whole? Doesn't mean that I got all this done, but, was I good to my partner? Was I good to myself? Did I leave myself set up better for tomorrow? And not every day is going to be a positive, but...
Two things,
yes,
right? Because
okay.
that, to me, that is one of the things I struggle the most.
Yeah.
How were you able to do that?
Yeah.
For those 2, 3, 4, 5 months,
Yeah.
when you started, this job of selling, and nothing was working in a way that you were not closing, how did you avoid that? I need to work even harder and put aside for a moment workouts or hobbies or whatever the case may be.
So to also add stress to this time period, Rachel, she got knee surgery. She took a tumble on a motorcycle and motocross track. And so honestly, like the last almost year, she's been down a leg almost, for the most part. So during that time, I can't remember, she was maybe on crutches or, I don't even think she could move her leg at that time. So all the dog duties, house duties, extra money, whatever needed to happen on top of, I was basically doing her duties and my duties in the house, on top of everything else. So talking about really fitting things in, it was wake up in the morning, eat, make sure the dogs are in, try to get my workout in, take care of Rachel, get her set up for her day, drive her to work if she needed to be driven to work, for a moment there. She couldn't do anything. One good thing that helped me for workouts was, I was already going to be outside with my dogs. So calisthenics, I'd do my handstands, my push-ups, my sprints, air squats, pistol squats, whatever. I can get a solid workout in on flat ground, and I can be toasting. If I do that every single day, because I'm already out there every single day, yeah, I might not be using weights, but I'm getting my work in, like that adds up. So that was huge. I just really compressed and got things to work together in unison. And that was a hard time. That was a tiring time. That was a stressful time. But we're here, we're good. And that's kind of what I was telling myself in the moment was like, sucks right now, but it's for your benefit, and that's one of those times where I had just turn off the emotions, and be like, to take care of my house and the loved ones, like I need to make sure I get all my shit done. So there's no option. Again, back to making it work. there's no option. I'm making this fucking work, you know?
I know, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's besides your work, is also taking care of your mentally with your hobby,
Yes.
having enough rest.
Yeah.
Which that's where I'm struggling, even right now. Right,
Yeah.
it's just, to me, I grew up in a household where I had, both parents were entrepreneurs. They work Monday through Monday, it's like every single day of the week
Yeah.
for years, and that is my. That's how I was raised. That's how I learned how to do things. Just work all the time, and it could pass days where I'm just working, and if I have to work out, I'll do it tomorrow. I need to keep working. Hobbies, I'll find time for that. I need to be productive. I have this obsession with being productive and all that, which leads to a burnout, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The second thing I wanted to say about one thing that you said, just going to sleep and knowing that you know, did okay and you were happy or whatever the case is, how do you do when the question is, because that is almost me every night, did I do enough? Did I work enough? Did I get enough done? And because I feel that I'm never at my best, because I know that I can always push another gear and work slightly harder. So how do you find that limit of, you know what, it's fine?
This might sound silly, but I analyze myself on a daily, like, consistency, you know, like whether I'm in a good mood that day or not, whether it's a good day or it's a hard day, you know, I'll kind of compile all of that and come up with an answer for myself. And if I'm not pleased with it, then I know what I want to change for tomorrow. You know, so even if I'm not pleased with my output for the day, I've now communicated to myself and thought with myself, like, I know my issue, I know the thing I did or didn't do, and I know tomorrow it's even more important to me to get that done. So now I'm going to maybe do twice the work, or make sure I successfully do that while also taking care of the other things I do or need to do. And yeah, that comes back to checking in on yourself, you know, honestly checking in.
Well, then if you do that every night, and this is the question, like, when to stop? Because if you feel,
when do we stop growing?
No, but it's but if you feel but if you feel today, okay, I didn't do enough, I'll do better tomorrow. You did better tomorrow, but then that day it's like, well, I didn't do enough. So it keeps going to a point, it's like, okay, when is it going to be enough?
When is it? Well, probably when it starts to affect your other areas is when you can dial it back and, you know, shuffle those boards of time, you know, throughout the day and see what you can work in for your calendar. Or, you know, I have this thing where I'll obsess over something. If there's something I'm doing or learning, whatever it is, I'll become obsessed with that thing, and it's 24/7, and that's hard to turn off. That is so hard to turn off. If I can get that in the right direction on the right thing, you know, we'll be good. But yeah, finding that balance is hard, and you're probably going to find a couple of your limits, you know, with finding your balance for whatever that thing is. And then once you hit that limit, play with some things, balance it out. Let's get back out there, and, you know, get at it. So that's one of the things that I was talking to my parents when they came visit in December. It's like, we see you very stressed, and what's going on? It's like, well, I have this project, right? And it has to work. But again, I gave myself 2 years for this podcast and see how far can I take it before I decided to shut it down or not. For sure.
But I don't know how to turn that off. I need to be productive. I need to keep going. I need to do something, right? I need to put 8, 10, 12 hours a day where I feel that both my input and sort of the output I got is enough for me. I don't know how to turn that off.
Is it because you don't know what you should be putting into it?
I think it's mostly results-based, right?
Okay.
This one will take very long to see any results. Even one day where I can just edit a few videos or do a certain things or trying to improve a couple of things. I don't get that dopamine rush of okay, I did A and I took B out. It's not like in your case, almost like if you're trying to go out and sell and then you don't do anything or you don't close anything, it feels kind of like that.
Oh, absolutely.
You're improving, but you're not getting...
There's no physical thing to
Bingo.
to be rewarded with.
Exactly. You don't get a physical reward.
Yeah. I feel you there, and I definitely know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. There's so many times where I was like, I'm wasting my time. Like, what am I doing? Is this really what I need to be doing? Finding that balance. I don't think I can tell you where that is. It's like you're just gonna have to find that and I don't know. I would start with finding placing something down consistent for yourself. Time wise that you feel. If there's anything you need to get done, maybe each day or 4 days out of the week, you'll do that every day. That way you have that consistency lurking in the back of your head saying, hey, no, I have been, even if I didn't need work 8 hours that day, like I know I did this thing for an hour straight and that day, that's all I had. So I worked hard on that. I got it done. Maybe the next day there'll be 3 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll get that done, but finding that is challenging, man.
Yeah, because again, and if you're a type A personality, which I think you are, Tanner is, it's just... Yeah. You always feel that you can do more. You always feel that you can push more.
Yeah, and that's such a trap too. It is, and I wish more people, maybe they do, would think about this. Is what are you working for? Why are you? Let's make sure like we're putting this amount of effort into the thing we actually want to do. I think it's real easy for us to push into something really hard. And it actually end up hurting us a little bit, and it's not really doing anything to benefit us, in the long run. Like maybe we have a job we don't like at all, and we're putting a lot of effort there, which is what you probably should be doing at work. But also, let's put some of that effort into a new hustle that you're trying to do, or down the road of a new path you might be trying to do, and realistic goals is definitely a good thing to do too. Yeah, I wish more people would really analyze what they're doing with themselves, or where they're going or why they're doing. I think that would help people with their general health. I don't know if that made any sense or not.
No, you did, and
Yeah.
I think that is mostly an American culture
Yeah.
of the hustling.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because I do have a bunch of friends in Europe, and even my brother and my sister live there, and they're asking me to move there. It's like, dude, I mean, I'm kind of like a junkie of the hustle. They keep going of the,
Yeah.
Even though I'm struggling, even though I'm every night when I go to bed, I'm thinking, okay, how can I improve? How can I get better? What can I do that really will move the needle
Yeah.
on what I'm doing? So to me, it's always been work,
Yeah.
and I'm fine with it. But then when you don't get results, it's just like, am I wasting my time? Am I doing the right thing? And then it's hard to stand in the moment and say, just trust it.
Yeah, and that's where I say kind of like what I was just saying, where I hope people analyze their path, more, because if you're not doing something you enjoy or you love, like, what's the point? What's the point? Like you're putting how many hours a day into this thing, and it's not guaranteed. You could be doing something, getting paid more or less, but it might be in the field you enjoy. So like, let's make the jump. Let's do it. Like I just want people to enjoy what they're doing, enjoy themselves, enjoy their lives, and even if it's a struggle, like there's plenty to be happy about. There's so much to be happy about and joyful for. It's so easy to get anxious or angry or sad about anything. Again, tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's absolutely true. And I'm trying to obviously figure out how to do the whole thing so far. And that's something that you mentioned earlier that I want to bring back is that you enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And for years, probably because I was doing something that I did not like, to me, the journey was the annoying thing I needed to get through in order
I felt the same way for the longest time, dude.
In order to get to the destination. But once I got to the destination, the most anticlimactic thing ever.
Yes.
You're just like, that's it?
Yeah.
It's over now, and then I need to start again.
Yep. And then you're like, well, like what do I do now? Yeah, for sure. I used to think that that's how life was. Like you do this thing and then that's that. And you're made it to there and then boom. And, you know, and life isn't that way. It's just a continual process of everything.
But the only way that you can enjoy it, if you're doing something
Yeah.
that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Even if that's something like working out hard in that pain, that's good.
Whatever the case
Enjoying
may
it.
be, if you enjoy somewhat
Mm-hmm.
the struggle, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's much easier to get to where you want to be because you're enjoying, because for you, this entire process, how you're growing over time, whether you're an artist or you're working at a company that you really enjoy working at, or having your own business or whatever, right? Or even working out, it's like those people who want to either lose weight or build muscle. They just want, many of them see the final product, and then it's easy to get discouraged when you don't enjoy the workouts. You don't enjoy the process of getting better at whether weightlifting or even if you're a runner. If you start running at 1 mile at a time, and now 7 months later you can run 7, 8. You can see that.
Yeah, I think we're all so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for. All of us. We are so much more capable. We have so many rules and laws that we've built in our own heads and set in place, and these paths that we're following that we created, you know, and we can do so much more, and that's hard, but I think that's all. I think
man,
there's so much to do. I love seeing people like follow through with their gym commitments to themselves, or committing to themselves, you know, because being in shape, it's not just something to take a picture about, you know, like it's also like you feel good. Anytime, you know, let's just say walking into a restaurant, like you hold the door for someone, like you're looking good, you're feeling confident, like they might, you know, start talking to you more, or you might have a better it's just when you're in shape, you have a much more confidence and you feel better, you feel capable, and that reflects in your own psyche, and other people pick up on that. So I wish everyone 2024 get out there and take it in strides, do it in your own, you know, way, and as healthy as you can be.
Yeah, dude, and being healthy is just you're giving your future self a better life.
For sure.
When you get less sick, when you don't have heart issues, when you don't have any of that, and you can enjoy more, whether you have kids, grandkids, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You just need to put the work now to give your future self a better life.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hope to have kids in the future, and I want to be out there jumping around, you know, doing as much as I can be. And there's only one way I'm going to do that. That's if I stay healthy and limber to that point, you know. So that's big on my head. Like, I just want to make sure that I stay as healthy as I can be in the time. You know, we always go up and down, but I think that goes so far for our day-to-day enjoyment and health. Having, confidence especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Duncan, as a closing,
for sure,
you know, question, what's the hardest thing that you ever done in your life?
Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I've got a couple, man.
Okay.
I have this weird thing that, like, I have a very hard time picking one favorite thing of anything. I just love.
I hear you.
So many things in different ways. One of the hardest things I've had to do. I think it could be a couple of things. I'll just come up with one. I'll say two. How about that?
Yeah, go for it.
One was quitting alcohol. That was hard. When I was in the military, I drank so much. Like, I'm talking a bottle of vodka a night. I was off.
Gee.
Yeah, like wild. As soon as I got out, I sobered up, and I will have, you know, a couple of beers here and there, but you won't see me getting plastered. So that was really hard, and it wasn't just hard in quitting, like drinking. It was also recognizing the flaws within myself, addressing them, things I had done or said to friends, family, whatever. That was really hard, and it's, you know, it got lasting effects when you do stupid shit. Yeah. So, you know, mending all that was that was hard and taught me patience and taught me empathy and a lot about myself. I think another thing would be when I was in the Coast Guard, I went to the rescue swimming program, AST, and out of, let's see, I think there was 28 or 29 people that go in. Typically only 1 to 2 people make it out of this program. And essentially like the Navy SEAL water training program that comes from the Coast Guard. So like that's what I was going through, and 7,000 to 9,000 calories a day. I went in at 19. I was the youngest person in my group. I made it, I think 3 months it was, ended up drowning. They pulled me out, brought me back on the side, coughing up water and everything. And the next day I quit that program because it was so much of a mental game. And then quitting that led to the alcohol down the road, and so that one internal failure really made, started me stumbling down the road for a while until I could bring myself back around. But that was hard, quitting that. That was, because I wanted to be that so bad. I wanted to be a rescue swimmer. I wanted to be in the helicopter, I wanted to do all that. And again, I was so hard on myself for so long. I was 19. I was a scrawny little dude, like I'm in the pool and just getting killed with these other men. There was a couple other young people with me too, but that was wild. There was very clearly 3 times that I went well beyond my mental and physical threshold. And each time after that day ended, I'd just go back and I'd cry in my room. Like that, I can't tell you how difficult that school was, but I mean, 11-foot pool, it creates 3 to 4 foot swells, has hurricane force winds and sound and rotor wash, and it's the real deal. It makes you feel like you're not in a pool, So, that was wild. I mean, we had the hardest day, the day I quit, hardest day we'd had. We got beat outside for hours, ran miles. We had a guy drop out because he hurt his ankle in the mud when we were running out in the woods. Get back, we're in the pool for the next 3 hours getting destroyed, and then they want to do water confidence drills, so they throw some rubber bricks into the pool, and we had to start doing different exercises there. Brick on side got me. Essentially, you hold a brick up and you got to swim, and this was probably our 3rd or 4th stint of doing, I think it was like 200 or 300 yards of brick on side, and got to this point where I'm doing my thing, and I look up and the water surface is up there. I'm like, man, I really need some air. I need to get a breath. And then everything inside me started to say, just go to sleep. And I see the top and I'm sinking, and I'm like, no, I need to get up there. And I got the brick here and I'm sinking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to sleep. Everything went black. Woke up on the side of the pool.
And that's scary.
That was the end of the day. Yeah, that was the end of the day. They called it. Actually, we ran long that day, and then the next day they were looking for me. They're like, all right, let's run water confidence drills again. And dude, I was broken. In my head, I'm training to be this thing, and then I failed. I couldn't even do that. What if I was out in the ocean and as a baby, and I just drowned. I killed that baby. I didn't succeed. I didn't fulfill my job, my role. And man, I took that so hard for the longest time. And again, learning to be gentle with yourself and love with yourself. And there was a huge pro out of that in the long run of, just like not everything you want in life you're going to get. And also understand not everything works out at the time you're trying to do that thing.
Yeah.
Like there's always something to grow with and move forward with. But
yeah, it's a typical cliche phrase that I hate, but every now and then I use, like everything happens for a reason, right? I feel that a lot of times it gets used as an excuse, but other times it's real. It's like you were not meant to do that thing.
When I left, I was the 7th person left out of, what was that, 28 or 29? I was 19. It's like, I think the next youngest guy to me was like 22 or 23. So like there was plenty to be proud of in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like plenty, but at that time, that age, all I can see is you're a failure.
It's tough.
So yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, Duncan, I mean, I really enjoyed this conversation with you.
This has been fun, man. This is cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to work with you on a new roof?
Yeah. Top Job Construction Group. Or you can find me on Facebook. I've also got a YouTube, ADH Dunk. Not a lot of stuff on it, but just
Yeah.
me doing some fun things and with some buddies.
Yeah, I'll add all of those
Cool.
to the
Yeah.
to the description and the
Yeah.
show notes for sure.
Love it, man.
Well, pleasure to have you here, man.
Thank you, brother. I'm so pumped that I got to be here for this
Yeah.
today.